It's finally here. The LB22.5. Here is what it looks like. I went with the tap controller, which is the touch screen, kind of the fancier one. Here's some of the specs here. 2200 max temp. And it's a 240 volt one. So that is today's little project, which is get this thing wired up and make sure everything works on it and start figuring it out. I went with the little bit deeper one because they make it at an 18 and a 22.5. So I don't know, I just thought just in case I ever do some longer blades. So that's the plan for today. All right, so I'm gonna try to get this thing hooked up and going. Let me see. So you can see right there, I hooked this heater up this last winter, and that's a 240 volt heater, and I ran a 30 amp line for that. So basically what I'm gonna do is tie into this and put an outlet probably right up here to where I can either plug this in or this. And I can't run them both at the same time because it would pop the breaker or maybe something worse. So I got one outlet to put in up there to where I'll either have to plug one in or the other one depending on what I'm doing that day. So that's the goal for today. Hopefully at the end of this video, I have got this thing fired up and working, and it didn't come with any instructions or anything as far as like if there's a little break-in or anything like that. I have no idea. I'm gonna look it up online before I do anything. But yeah, so that's the plan. I'm gonna get this thing hooked up. I gotta go shut that breaker off for this line, and yeah, hope I don't electrocute myself. Stay tuned. All right, this is the outlet that this oven requires, so you guys can see that. And I got that done, plugged in, ready to fire this thing up for the first time. So I'm going to turn you around and see what happens. Okay. Had a little startup screen there. Now it's blank. And there it is. Let's see. Okay. It's kind of loose. I'm going to have to tighten that up a little bit. And there's the main screen right there. So I looked it up really quick, and it basically just said you run this thing for a little bit at 1500 degrees to kind of break it in before you do anything. So I'm going to mess with that a little bit, figure all this stuff out. Schedules. Oh, this touchscreen's super nice. A1 even heat test. Let's see what that is. Edit schedule? No. Oh, let's go back. Schedules, no. Menu. All right, you guys obviously see I don't know what I'm doing with this thing yet. I need to read the directions a little bit, and I'm gonna fire this thing up and kind of see how it works. Okay, so as you can see, I've got it set for 1500 degrees. It's slowly kind of raising. See, 87, 90. I just turned it on. This thing works great. This touchscreen's awesome. I'm definitely pumped I got that. I have to mess with it a lot more, obviously, but it works really, really good. Everything's working good. And yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I went with this model in a minute once this thing gets up to temp and I figure it out a little bit. I'm just gonna go over that a little bit, but so far so good. The thing's really nice. The shop's a mess, but you can see it's got a really nice kind of stainless sleeve around the whole thing. There's the controller. Nice little base. Everything about this thing's super nice. And oh, it just made a funny noise. It said it was gonna make some noises, so. All right, I'll check back in a minute. Well, we're up to 1238 degrees in about 8 minutes so far of it running. this cycle it's going to 1500 degrees just to see how it all works and stuff. But while this thing's heating up, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I went with the even heat and why I went with this model in particular. So I don't know a ton about these, so don't quote me on any of this, but basically I went with the LB series, which is kind of, I don't know if you'd call it their basic series or whatever, but like this one goes to 2200 degrees. And I was kind of going between that one and the KO series, which was a little bit more money. And the KO goes to 2400 degrees. I think it just has a little bit thicker fire brick in it. And don't quote me on the price, but it was like a couple $100 more or something like that. So I ended up going with the LB22.5, which is the LB18, I think is the smallest one in that series. It wasn't very much more money to jump up to the 22.5. If you guys follow along with what I do, I mainly do smaller hunting knives and some fillet knives and stuff like that. So the 18 probably would have got most of what I do right now done, but I thought for the little bit extra money, bump it up to the next size, just in case I ever want to do anything bigger. So this thing you can do 22.5-inch knife. And as far as the controller goes, there was like 3 different options, I think, on which controller you go with. I went with the best one, which is the touchscreen one, and then there's a couple step down from that. And the reason I went with this one is I've talked to like 3 or 4 different people that I know that own even heats and the Paragon ones as well. And everybody just told me, go with the touchscreen, go with the touchscreen. I think it was maybe $300 more. Don't quote me on any of these prices because I ordered this thing 12 weeks ago and it finally got here today. So I don't even remember the prices on it. But from just messing with this a tiny bit, I can tell this touchscreen model is definitely the way to go. It's super user-friendly, you can tell. So I still need to read the directions a little bit more, and I'm gonna go ahead and program all my all the steels I use in this, so then you can program it, and then when you go to heat treat, whatever it is, you just go boop, push the button, and it runs through the cycle, whatever you program into it, which is awesome. Now, I have looked a lot at these before I bought this one. I was between this one and the Paragon one, and I ended up going with the even heat for a couple reasons. One, I think it was a little bit cheaper, not way cheaper, but just a little bit more. And also, maybe when you guys see this video, they won't still be doing this, but the Knife Talk podcast guys were running a discount on them if you go through Soul Ceramics, and that's where I went through. It wasn't very much. I think it ended up saving like $75, and then free shipping, I think, is what it was. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was just kind of that little push to where, all right, I was going to get one anyways, end up saving me a couple $100. You might as well go that route. So like I said, when you guys see this video, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but it worked out for me. So that being said, I'm super stoked that I finally got this thing. It's a big learning curve, figuring it all out and everything, but everything seems super user-friendly. The guys over at Soul Ceramics were awesome to deal with. I placed an order and it took 12 weeks to get it because you go through Soul Ceramics and then they, I think, order it to even heat, and it's kind of, they're the middleman on the deal or whatever it sounds like. But they email you every week and tell you what's going on with the order, this and that. And I called once and they were super friendly and nice to deal with. So I think I just wanted to make this video kind of quick and short for people that were probably in my shoes not that long ago, and maybe explain a little bit of the stuff that I didn't know, now I know. Maybe you learn something, maybe you don't, I don't know. But anyways, the LB22.5 is what this one is with the tap controller. I love it so far. I'm definitely going to do like a review of this thing probably after a few months of using it, once I learn how to use it a little bit more, and probably read the directions. That's one thing, it didn't come with like a printed directions. Maybe I'm old school or something, but I like to have something to kind of look at. All they sent me was this catalog, like I wanted to buy another one or something, I'm not sure. But anyways, hopefully I covered kind of everything. I'm still heating this thing up. It's at 1350 right now. So like I said, this is the 240 volt version. So supposedly the heat up's a lot faster on the 240 volt, and it also, I think it's a little more energy efficient too. That was why I went with this route. And like I said earlier, I ran that dedicated 240 volt outlet in here for that heater and for this last winter, just because I knew I was going to get this. So that was the other thing I heard from everybody is don't go with the 110 version one. Just either save up a little bit, get the 240. I don't even know if it was way more money to get the 240, but a lot of people don't have that service in their shop or whatever. But get it handled, figure that out, because I can already tell the heat up on this is super fast, and I really like it. So I will show you guys opening the door on this once it's heated up here. We're almost there. And yeah, but if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and maybe we can kind of learn together on this thing a little bit. And yeah, but thanks for watching. All right, got up to 1500 in about, I don't know, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. I wanted to just open this door up now that it's here and see kind of what it's like. Holy cow. That is awesome. Let's close it really quick. See how fast it dropped. Well, brings it right back up fast. This thing's awesome. All right, guys, I'm done.